questions, any queries, we will attend to them. There's a team that is there specifically to attend to you. Without any further ado, I would like to call on stage the director of the DITTC, Mr. Ayanda Noma, to do a formal welcome. A round of applause for him.
Well, thank you very much, Program Director. This is constraining for me. I prefer to be visible. Now I feel as if, behind this, I'm invisible, but it's fine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, partners, mentors, and most importantly, our aspiring entrepreneurs. Right. And of course, I want to acknowledge, the colleagues that are online. We truly appreciate the fact that you could make time to actually be with us, in this event. It's my great pleasure to welcome you, basically to what is the final session of the Unisa Startup, Catalyst. Today marks both an ending and the beginning. It's the culmination of weeks of hard work, creativity, and resilience, and the first steps of our startups towards a real-world impact. When we launched the program, our vision was clear, was to empower Unisa's innovators with the knowledge, the tools, and the support needed to turn ideas into viable ventures. Over the past several weeks, you've immersed yourself in intensive training, honed your business models, tested assumptions, and wrestled with real-world challenges, and also the challenges of early-stage entrepreneurship. It's very important for us, as a DITTC. We're tasked with supporting innovation, making sure that, these innovations turn and become, solutions, out there in society. And so, for us, it's actually very important, given the role, given the fact, the challenges that we face in our society. This is very, very important for us. And of course, today, you will share the fruits of your journey, your startup pitches with this audience of mentors, enthusiasts, tech enthusiasts, and fellow entrepreneurs that are online, and Unisa staff members that are amongst us, then also some of them that are online, and of course your peers. Let me say up front, whether your startup is still a sketch on a napkin or has started gaining traction, your progress represents an important investment in South Africa's innovation future. I don't know whether I should bore you with the statistics, right? But please indulge me, right? If the studies have shown that in the OECD countries, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD group of countries, right, that about 99%, of all companies are SMEs. And of course, I'm very mindful of the definition of SMEs in different countries. But bottom line is that the majority of companies are SMEs. And those companies contribute about 90%, on average, 90% of GDP in those countries, right? And I always say, perhaps when it comes to, the entrepreneurship space and the innovation space, and towards us addressing some of the challenges that we face, perhaps maybe the future is not so big after all. I don't want to use the word to say it's small, but it's not so big after all. Maybe startups play a very crucial role in this process. And of course, there's some studies that show that startups play a catalytic role in any thriving economy. Globally, young and growing firms account for nearly 50% of all new jobs created. Well, there's a statistics coming from some data coming from it's a bit old, dated, but at least it demonstrates the point coming out of Stanford Research, Institute, right? That clearly shows that, over a period of about 35 years, right, startups actually in the USA alone, were responsible for creating 85 million jobs, whilst big companies shared about 30 million jobs. So there are lessons to be learned, also for our own growth and development, particularly in our own in the continent, Africa as a whole, given that we've got a youth dividend. What we're going to do 20 years from now depends pretty much on what we do today. how we actually capacitate, the young entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, to actually turn these, innovative ideas into solutions. And of course, in South Africa, despite these tough macroeconomic conditions, startups continue to inject energy into our economy, particularly in high growth sectors like fintech, health tech, agri-tech, ed-tech, and other areas. They are job creators, opportunity builders, and often the first to explore new markets or respond to local problems with innovative solutions. I would, maybe pause here a bit and say, sometimes there's this view, and I think perhaps maybe ill-informed, if I may put it like that, of thinking that, on the continent there's no innovation. What's happening in the continent? There's a lot of innovation. The fact that it's not documented does not mean it's not there, right? It ranges from, sort of your low tech, if you want to call it low tech, to really high tech innovation that's happening on the continent. There are people now who are documenting those stories, to actually counter this, sort of, Afro pessimism, of the continent that is dark. The continent holds a huge promise. There are a lot of things that are happening, not just in South Africa, but in other parts of the continent as well. East Africa is a huge, bustling, activity with Africa, North Africa. There are hubs that are really, really, active in this space. And of course, we've got to move with speed, with speed as well. By some estimates, startups in Africa raised over 6 billion in 2022. Did you see that figure in the news? Did you see that figure in the news? Startups in Africa raised over 6 billion in 2022. There was one particular startup that I'd never heard of, right? That was profiled, very good, very good, very good guy. He's created a portal, basically it's an encyclopedia of innovators in the rest of the continent. It's called Disrupting Africa. I would encourage you. It's called Disrupting Africa. I would really encourage you to go and read those stories about the beautiful things that are happening on the continent. Despite what you hear, this continent is on the march. This continent is on the rise, right? It's on the rise, and of course, it's quite big. It's a huge market, right? It creates an opportunity for us to really engage, continent-wide. And of course, this fact that they've raised this money is a sign of increasing global confidence in the continent's entrepreneurial, talent. Yesterday, I was watching a program, and there was this guy who moved from the US to go and set up a company, a startup in Ghana, right? He's an American. And you listen to him, the startup was really about assisting other entrepreneurs to access information. Now, I asked myself, why would you go there if there was no activity, happening in the continent? He was not seeing the potential. He was seeing the potential. I keep on saying Africa is on the march, right? And yet, of course, behind every headline investment lies a story of learning, risk, and relentless determination. The very qualities you've demonstrated, at least in this program. I know there's quite a lot of you who are presenting, today. But let's not forget, the value of startups is not measured, by revenue alone. Many of the ideas, serves that we've seen through the Startup Catalyst, as well as the Unisa Innovation Challenge, right, to solve deep-rooted societal challenges, from healthcare access, youth unemployment, to sustainable agriculture and digital inclusion. These are not just businesses. They are missions, powered by passion and purpose. In this room, and of course also online, some of the participants will be participating online, will be presenting virtually, right? Right. We see solutions that could help reimagine service delivery, reduce inequality, and amplify voices in communities often left behind. I always say to people, maybe somebody once said to me, well, let me leave that name that they used. But I always say to people, there's no Messiah. There's nobody that's coming from anywhere else that is going to come and solve our problems. It's not there. It's not going to happen. So we are the ones that have been waiting for in terms of solving our problems, right? And of course, society rightfully looks to you and celebrates you, right, for being risk takers, for putting yourselves out there and saying we're going to solve, we're going to put our, raise our hands to actually solve some of these challenges. It's incumbent upon us, right? If society, there's a one of the quotes by Mwalimu. I don't know whether you definitely know Mwalimu, right? Basically, I'm going to paraphrase this, and I may butcher it a little bit, and I apologize in advance. But what it says is that if you have utilized public funds, right, to get an education, and don't contribute to the development of that society, you are a traitor. It's a very long one, but that's basically what it means. I'm not saying you are, but it underlies the point that society, there's an expectation from society that those that are educated, those that are knowledgeable, would actually use that knowledge to solve challenges in society, right? And of course, this resonates with the vision of Unisa, the African University shaping futures in service of humanities. And of course, you are serving humanity in different ways, right? And this is where Unisa, of course, as an engaged and socially conscious university, stands proud. We do not innovate for innovation's sake. We innovate to make a difference. And of course, we see that, through the solutions that are going to be presented today and some of the solutions that we've seen in the Unisa, Innovation Challenge. Right? But of course, let's take a moment to thank everyone who helped make this program a success. Our facilitators and mentors who shared their time and experience. And of course, I'm not singling out any, but I think it deserves a mention. Miss Alice Nicholas, who's joining with us online from Boston. We acknowledge you, Alice, and of course, we truly appreciate all the hard work that we've put in. You've truly opened our eyes. You've shaped our thinking in a number of ways, and you continue to really challenge us, to make sure that we think differently about how we drive innovation and entrepreneurship within the university. So we acknowledge you, right? And of course, our partners and funders whose belief in this initiative turned vision into a reality. And of course, the team. And of course, I need to acknowledge, where is he? He's sitting over there on the other corner there. Please have a look at that gentleman. Maybe the camera will show his face. All right. Maybe the camera should show his face. All right. Because he's really the driver. Besides the DITT team, my colleagues also around the room, but Basanda Pongoma is the one that is driving the Univentures within Unisa, right? This created this entity from nothing, right? To support, startups, to support, not just startup by staff, but also by students as well, to make sure that, we can have these kinds of successes that we're having, right? And I can tell you now, he's not doing it because it's a nice thing to do, right? Doing it because there's a passion, it's a mission, that we have to create new competencies and capabilities for our continent. Right. And of course, let's give him a round of applause. He really deserves a round of applause. Right. It does. And of course, to our startup teams, remember, your journey does not end today. Starting. And you know very well that at Univentures, we continue to support you, right? Right? I'm asking the ones that are here, that, right? We continue to support you, right? Pitching your ideas is not just the beginning. Whether your next step is incubation, funding, or scaling, stay curious, stay connected, and above all, stay courageous. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. We know that. It's a lonely journey, right? But it holds great rewards. Holds great rewards if you stay the course, right? So we look forward to seeing your final presentations, your stories of resilience, strength, creativity, and of course, unbounded potential. As you share your ideas today, know this: you're not just presenting today, to all of us here in the room and those that are virtual. You represent a new wave of Unisa-led innovations. You are the pioneers of innovation in the space within Unisa. There may be others. We're building this groundswell. I always say that if Unisa has had an impact in actually, creating access in higher education, right? Through the programs, through these kinds of initiatives and programs, we can create what is called the Unisa effect when it comes to entrepreneurship in the country. And if you look at me, ask me, do you believe that? I truly believe that wholeheartedly. We're beginning to see the results, of some of this. And of course, there'll be videos that we'll see. And of course, there's some stories linked to that. Maybe we can have a chat, during a break or some, around those. Right. As the Directorate of Innovation, Technology Transfer and Commercialization, we shall continue to support your noble endeavors. And of course, not because it's just our role in the university to do this, but because there's an urgent need to create new competencies again and capabilities, to solve our societal challenges. If this continent, if we look at, let me not talk politics, but I'll enter into politics a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, if you look at some of the countries that are successful and innovative, right? They're not endowed with mineral resources. And you wonder why. And of course, let's leave the history. It's very important, that history and context. But one of the things that they've been able to do is to capacitate their own people, to make sure that they one, they generate the knowledge that they need, and two, people are able to translate that knowledge into socio-economic outcomes. Should do the same. Unashamedly, you should do the same. And of course, celebrate the culture of, understanding that in this endeavor, it's possible to fail. And actually not look down on people that actually do not succeed in entrepreneurship, but actually celebrate them, because they're going to come back again, so they can come back again and actually do more of this stuff. So in closing, and I just want to say, I know that maybe just to mention that 10 of the people that we're presenting today, just to show the kind of commitment that we have to this process, and the kind of support that the university, puts behind these kinds of efforts. 10 of the people that we're presenting today will get to spend some time in Boston in June, right? They'll be traveling to Boston as part of the Unisa International Exchange Program. We run quite a number of these exchange programs. They'll be spending time in Babson College, visiting MIT, Tufts, and this time at Harvard. And of course, there's other undisclosed place which I will mention. Only them they will know. Only them that they will know. But really, it's a sort of 2.5 weeks immersion program, right? It really aims to expose you, educate you. When people come back, after experiencing that, they are very different. At the moment, we've got a group. I was talking to her. We currently have a group that is in Switzerland. Is coming back in the weekend. We've got some students that are in Ireland. All right. We've got others that are about to go to China. And of course, it's the students who commit themselves, on this journey of entrepreneurship, of innovation, just to make sure that they put their hands, up and say, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be one of those that are going to dream of new solutions that the society needs. Right. And of course, in closing, thank you. And of course, best luck to all the presenters. I can't say the last sentence that I have. I said, let the pitches begin, because I know that now it's something else. Right? But nonetheless, let the pitches begin. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Noma. A round of applause for our director, the director of DITTC, Mr. Ayanda Noma. Thank you so much. I want to see if we're actually listening to his speech and his explanation of why we're here and what we're doing today. In fact, another thing I should probably mention is that we do have a competition that's running. So I'm going to need you to focus, right? And the competition starts right now. Who here? Do we have a mic? Or someone that can be on the floor? Do we have a roaming mic? Okay, we do have a roaming mic. Who here can tell me what the DITTC does? First, in fact, what does it stand for first? Just raise your arm. I'm not saying you are gonna win. I'm just saying now I'm collecting my finalists for my competition. Who here can tell me what the DITTC stands for? I literally said it. Mr. Noma said it. It's written somewhere here. No? Nothing. Okay. Who can tell me what it does? I know for a fact on this table someone knows. You know what? It's fine. Maybe we're a bit shy. We'll do this a bit later on. In this next segment, what we're going to do is to showcase, well, not necessarily showcase, but show you 4 of our startups that we have supported along on their journey. Like Mr. Norma said, we do support you from start to finish. So this is going to give you a glimpse of what we do. Never know, it could be you next time that we're going to be seeing on the screen. So please enjoy our videos. Are my videos ready? Perfect. Enjoy.
My name is Bonginkosi Mambaso, founder and CEO of NConnect. I'm, I'm a student with the University of South Africa, currently studying agribusiness in Pretoria. What would you do if you were not, or you had no internet connectivity 15 minutes before an online examination? Well, it happened to me in 2020 during the time of COVID-19. I had no internet connection for 15 minutes before an online exam. Fortunately enough, connectivity came back 25 minutes after the examination had started. But after writing the examination, I then asked myself, how many students do get to experience this issue? I then connected to market research and found that students experience this issue as a result of load shedding and limited access of internet connectivity, especially in disadvantaged or rural areas. We built an offline examination platform that enables students to write online examinations even when they're not connected to the internet. Recently, we developed an offline proctoring app, which we call ProctorPal. It's an app that will ensure that students proctored or invigilated even when they're not connected to the internet. Online or distance learning institutions, universities, colleges, private colleges, as well as online high schools and primary schools, and training organizations. Well, our offline examination platform is currently on post-commercialization phase. We have signed our first client, and the invigilation app or the proctoring app is ready to hit the market. Well, we signed our first client month end of May this year, 2024. The client is based in Bloemfontein in South Africa. They're called Homeschooling St. Alice Advanced Education Center. And we currently have 4 potential private colleges who are looking to license the proctoring app. But from the year of 2023 till 2024, we have received funding from the University of South Africa, IDC, Royal Academy of Engineering in partnership with Institute of Business Ethics in the UK. And we have received funding as well from Absa Bank in partnership with the Young African Entrepreneurs Institute, all in 2020, starting from 2023 till 2024. And we have awards that we've won with the Unisa from the Innovation Challenge, Crucible Awards, as well as Business Ethics and Impact Prize that we got from the UK. For me, the mind-blowing benefit from the Univenture is that they first invested in me as an entrepreneur before I even had an idea. For me, that is mind-blowing. The second thing was they were the first to even invest in my startup. And lastly, they assisted us together with the Blue Oceans to invite China University of Technology as well as students here from Unisa to validate our examination platform while it was still under minimum viable product phase. Now we are on the commercial phase where we already have clients. So they were the first to invest in me as an entrepreneur to come with an idea, fund us, and help us validate the technology.
Hi,
Hi, my name is Caroline Matenchi, originally from Mpumalanga but currently residing in Roodepoort, south of Johannesburg. I am the founder of AgriSmart Tech and I hold a BSc in Life Science, specializing in biomedical science, graduated at the University of South Africa. So AgriSmart Tech has been doing some few research, and some of the issues that we found in the farming industry is the fact that farmers go into the industry not knowing the type of soil that they will be using, the type of fertilizers, or the type of water that they might need to actually grow different type of crops. So what we do is we collect data, and with the data that we collect, we provide solutions to improve soil quality as well as nutrients. AgriSmart Tech has developed a 7-in-1 pathology multi-sensor, and what makes it unique to the sensors that are already out there is the fact that we have a CO2 gas sensor that detects the different type of gases around the environment and the plants as well, since we all know that CO2 is very important for photosynthesis, which is being processed by the plants themselves. So besides the CO2, we also look at nutrients within the soil that can benefit the growth of different crops. Our main target market is new farmers, small scale farmers, as well as researchers that are looking at different type of soil, since soil typing is a thing out there that can actually benefit the environment. So in a nutshell, those are our target markets. So currently the pathology multi-sensor has bypassed its prototyping phase. We are working on a new design as well as adding new sensors that could be beneficial to its function, and we might be actually launching a new design or new product by the end of this year. Currently, we are working with a small community in Mpumalanga under the district of Tabatweni, municipality, Mukolobe community. They are looking into utilizing the land that they received from the government, and we are actually assisting them to revive the soil in that particular area, since the area is surrounded by different mines. So AgriSmart Tech has came a long way, I must say, and one of our biggest successes that we always put out there is the fact that we won the Unisa Innovation Challenge. We were part of the top 5, and during that process, Unisa actually supported us in various ways, and we were also nominated to join the TENSA entrepreneurship program, nominated by the University of South Africa. And during that program, we actually won best business model within that program, and we've always been champions, I believe, within that space of actually coming up with different models to improve within our business. And some of the successes or opportunities that I would say we received was actually to be part of a student exchange program between the University of South Africa as well as the University of Michigan in the USA. We looked at different dimensions of farming, different machineries, sensors, different type of soils, and the collaboration actually yielded a lot of good collaboration in the long run. Univenture, I would say that's like home, but also the benefit of being part of the program or part of Univenture is the fact that the university has supported us not only by just starting our companies, but also attending workshops, as well as introducing us to different collaborations, as well as grant funding, seed funding, how to conduct yourself as a business owner, how to structure and scale up your business.
My name is Lisa Van Benica. I'm a Durban girl currently staying in Pretoria, and I'm studying towards an
Excuse me, so
advanced
sorry. Can we
diploma in
pause just a
power
bit?
engineering at Unisa.
Apologies, my audience. We have a bit of a complaint online, and I apologize for this. Apparently, there's a lag, so they're not hearing the videos properly. I want to take a couple of minutes to sort that out. In the meantime, while we're doing that, and again, apologies for that. In the meantime, I do have a winner. Someone online answered the question that I was asking immediately, right? Do we want to give her a round of applause, actually? Mabongi Jessica Nyalunga answered, it is the Directorate for Innovation, Technology Transfer, and Commercialization. So we know it now, right? As if we didn't know it already. So that is what the DITTC stands for. Are we so? Oh, there's a. I mean, I did say it was there. It was on the screen. I mean, right there. But it's okay. It's okay. Are we winning, do? Oh, so we're going to play the third and the fourth.
So I began developing a solar window blind.
Different machineries, sensors, different type of soils, and the collaboration actually yielded a lot of good collaboration in the long run. Univenture. I would say that's like home, but also the benefit of being part of the program or part of Univenture is the fact that the university has supported us not only by just starting our companies, but also attending workshops, as well as introducing us to different collaborations, as well as grant funding, seed funding, how to conduct yourself as a business owner, how to structure and scale up your business.
My name is Lisa Van Benica. I'm a Durban girl currently staying in Pretoria, and I'm studying towards an advanced diploma in power engineering at Unisa. I'm also the founder of a technology company called LC Dynamics. LC Dynamics was established to address gaps in the energy industry. And so one that I noticed is that tenants and sectional title properties do not enjoy the same access to solar technology that others do, as they struggle to negotiate with the landlord or a body corporate to get a permanent solution installed. So I began developing a solar window blind that can be installed non-invasively, so clients can take it with them if they move. It's also installed behind a window, so it's kept safe from theft and weather damage, and it provides plug-and-play charging. My target market is anybody who has a sunny north-facing window and would like to access the benefits of solar technology with zero operational costs. The product is currently being industrialized for commercial production so that we can enter the market. Since founding LC Dynamics in the beginning of 2022, we've won numerous awards, including Total Energy's Startup of the Year Challenge, Unisa's Innovation Challenge, and Tensor's Highest Growth Business Potential Award. Unisa has provided me with training, mentorship, opportunities for exposure, and financial support to develop my technology and innovation.
My name is Nkamarele Mboropa. I'm the founder of two startups, Hunadi Cycle Projects, trading as B-Cycle SA, and NB Data Management that helps individuals and small businesses manage their data. I am a data scientist, I am a wife, I am a sister, I value a relationship with God. I'm trying to solve congestion in the CBDs and also reduce plastic waste. B-Cycle SA is trying to reduce congestion by introducing bicycles in the CBD, creating that last mile to public transportation or outside of the city, therefore reducing cars in the city. We are doing this by also creating our own comfortable cool bikes where the seats are comfortable, the frames are lower, and they're made from waste plastic. Our target market is young people that work in the CBD, starting with the city of Tshwane. They normally range from the age of 20 to 35. We have started renting bicycles in Acacia, that is in north of Pretoria. And we also have our first prototype that we are testing, and we are going around also testing the market with. The bike sharing that we are doing in Pretoria North, we are doing this on Fridays and Saturdays, and we get around 3 to 4 people a day. When there's events, we can get to 30 people. We have 50 bicycles, depending on what's happening, but on average, 3 to 4 people. The biggest milestone is creating the bicycle. It showed feasibility, it showed sort of tangibleness of the project. The second milestone was starting to do the bike sharing in Pretoria North, where we got feedback from our customers, and also our customers starting to rent out those bicycles. I think Unisa helped us take our idea from idea to a feasible project. They helped us design the bike from the beginning, test out materials that we can use for the bike, different plastics, and finally creating a full bike that we can take around and access the market with.
That was absolutely stunning. A round of applause for our startups again. Yes. So, what is supposed to happen here now? We are supposed to be going out for tea and coffee, but I see that there's a bit of delay with the setup. So what I will do, while we prepare for our, like I said earlier on, our robust program that's still coming up, we're looking at the program that Mr. Noma mentioned earlier on that he was describing. We're going to see the real life pictures of the people who went through the program. So we're going to have our Unisa Catalyst program, which is going to be conducted by Miss Alice Colley. And after that, we're going to have presentations from a group of 5. We're going to have some more presentations after that. So please stay tuned and get ready to enjoy what people out there, what young people out there actually are coming up with to find solutions to challenges in society. So what I will do now is give you 10 minutes for a quick smoke break, walkabout, and then while we prepare for the next session of the program. So please do use the, like I mentioned earlier on, there's toilets this side, there's toilets on this side as well. A round of applause for yourselves, please. A bit of music from the multimedia. Thank you. All right, 10 minutes is not over yet, but I see that you're not particularly interested in my offer. So what I will do, again, this is also an opportunity to get to know what we do again, because I do feel like there's gaps in terms of information sharing. And obviously we hold this session so that you can be able to know exactly what we do and how you can benefit from the services. So what I will do is call up a colleague of mine, the one we were clapping hands for earlier on, who is hands-on in the startups section, and he's going to be answering questions. He's going to give us a bit of a background of what his portfolio does and what support that we do and the programs that we have. So a round of applause for Mr. Basanda Pongoma coming up on stage at this particular moment. This is impromptu, guys. I'm actually putting him on the spot. Round of applause for Basanda.
I think still in the morning. Good morning, colleagues. How are you doing? This mic up there. How are you doing? Any aspiring entrepreneurs today? Didn't get excited about what these guys are doing. I think there were guys who were saying they want to be entrepreneurs here. Yeah, okay. Just a brief from my side. Name is Basana Pongoma, and I had a program called Univentures at Unisa. So the program at Univentures is really to support aspiring entrepreneurs. You might be a student, you might be a staff member or alumni. We support you where we take your idea to market. There's several interventions that we provide. Through a Startup Academy program that we brought is there to support you in terms of training. So the Startup Academy has training interventions that we have. And also we do provide in terms of network and connection, which we do through our startup club that we provide support from. And that startup club is managed by, I can't see now, we have an intern who's Khomotso Makhakhane. Khomotso can assist you in several things. There's opportunities that we send every Friday. So if you want to be in that database, you can contact her. Every Friday, we send about between 5 to 10 opportunities that are out there for startups or people who want to create their own companies. It can be for funding, it can be for training, it can be just wanting to do a new website about supporting entrepreneurs. It's local, international opportunities. So several people have taken that opportunity and they really won. And also we have other opportunities like now, this one of the first opportunities that we're doing with a startup day that we're doing, that we're gonna start to showcase the work that we're doing within the Univentures. So this has been in work for the past, let's say 5 years in our support of the startup in the university. And our key thing in this startup program, I'm not here to do any presentation per se, but just want to give a glimpse. Our focus is founder centric. What I mean is that we are here to invest in you as a founder in that company. We give you the skills and the tools and manage you, provide you with mentors and other support so that you can be customer centric in your approach. So what we always do is not really about the best technology or your best innovation, but we say, do you solve someone else's problem? Do you solve complex problems in the society? So that's how we train you and try to develop you. And that's why we have this program called Catalyst. These guys here are people who are trying to validate problems in the market. So I'll stop there and give you an opportunity to ask me questions, and I might have answers for you. I might have some comments. I might guide you somewhere, but I'm here for open for you to engage. Anyone has a question, concern, maybe or also maybe have suggestions for us to look at? I'm here for you. Any questions? Everyone satisfied? Okay, there's one question. Is there a mic? Okay, the mic. There's one question coming from.
Partnership that Unisa offers to the entrepreneurs. Okay. In terms of the partnership that Unisa sets up with the entrepreneurs that go through the program, what kind of what sort of say, what does the cap table look like? What is the equity distribution? How does that work? And especially if, for example, the solution is one that in itself can have IP value.
Okay.
How does Unisa go about setting up an equitable partnership?
Awesome. Thank you for that question. So currently where we're sitting is that when we support students in the university, majority of the students come from a program called the Unisa Innovation Challenge that is currently open now, that we allow Unisa students to come up with their ideas so that when they win, we provide support. So in that program, the Unisa student, they get grant funding. But with time, what we have then developed that Unisa student with that grant, normally that grant is there to develop your minimum viable product, which is like your prototype, to take your company further. So this year we are starting the initiative of now investment in those companies. So there's then a second portion of the fund where the university will invest in the company. So in the program, when you come as a student with your idea, you own your idea. The university does not own your idea. Does it make sense? So when you file, we do provide support around IP application in terms of if there's a novelty in what you come up with. So there will be support when it comes to that area. When now you start your company, you own your IP as a student idea. And then we support you from there. But then the second part we're talking about now, the first part is grant funding, where you don't pay back the money in your development. The second part now is an investment part, where now the university will take a portion of equity in the company based on the agreement you come up with that. Does it make sense? Or clear? Or there's something else?
Yes, kind of. The university doesn't own the ideas that students come to a company, come to them with, but whether they own the ideas that staff come to them with is a gray area.
Okay, so then when it comes to staff, which I'm not even an expert in this, but I'll attempt to answer you. So with the staff, there is an IPR rate of the country. So every public funded research. So you might be using the NRF funding to develop your solution, and also is from the university. The IP that emanates there as a researcher, and also when you are, let's say you are a postgraduate student working on that project, what comes from there, the university will then manage in terms of protecting and managing that IP. The program with the Innovation Challenge for students is original ideas that are outside of their study, of their scope of studying. So that's where the difference is at. So the one for staff and the let's say postgrad student doing a research work is coming from the scope of work. So based on the scope of work, the university will take ownership on managing that. The competition for Innovation Challenge and supporting students is to really encourage innovation and entrepreneurship activity within the university. But those ideas, because some of them, those guys who spoke, they introduced their ideas here. This is not coming from their projects that they worked on the university. It's something that is outside of the scope of their work. So that's where the difference is at.
No, but my question's actually practical. What is the partnership? What are the terms of the partnership typically if a staff member were to come in? Unisa,
So if
Unisa
it's,
takes management, but how do they incentivize then that it actually goes forward?
for the staff member?
Yeah.
Okay, so the staff member is a different what do you call line with it, because then the IP, if let's say you are a staff member coming up with your own idea and we're trying to support you, it's out of your scope, that will be different support. But now if it's coming from the IP that you come up with your work, the university will manage in terms of your benefits there. So in terms of the IPR Act, licensing and stuff, there is benefit sharing that as a staff, as an inventor in that space, you get benefits when that license makes money from it. You are not clear. Okay, the director will add. Yeah, we'll also open, but you will add, but then we can engage.
Can I just add if I may? So there are three ways, right? So the first thing that happens, let's get the basics correct, right? Any IP that is produced by staff, when they are performing their duties within the university, the IP belongs to the university. Especially so when it comes to research, and it's in terms of the IPR Act, intellectual property rights with public funding research and development. This is not something that is unique to South Africa. It's actually global. There are very few countries that still have what is called the teachers. It's called the teachers' privilege, right? Where the IP, the researchers own the IP, right? Very few, and of course they're getting limited, because countries change. Now within our space, right, and also because of the IPR Act, you are entitled to a share of any revenue that comes out of that IP, right? It's in terms of legislation. But also we do have that in the IPR Act. That's the first one, right? That you will have a share in that. And the second bit comes in with the if you'd come to us and you disclose, right, to us, and you say, well, I've made a disclosure, I've come up with an invention, right? And of course we do our assessment as a tech transfer office. And we actually decide that, this is something that we need to protect, right? One, we are entitled to two things. I'll keep on counting. Yeah, right? The first one is that as the IP creators, there's an incentive of 50,000 rands, right? For all the IP creators that will get out of that. But from our experience, we've actually discovered that that's not what drives the behavior, that kind of incentive, right? It's not what drives the behavior. But people are really excited about coming up with a disclosure. They've come up with an invention, and they're quite excited about that. That's one thing that you get. But the second thing that you get is that you then get a 200,000, which is the translational fund, right, to help you take your invention to the next level, right? In terms of the protection, the Unisa provides protection. Now, in the event that you yourself want to come and say, well, I want to license this, you can do so. You can license it out, right? Currently we've got some staff members that are creating spin-off companies, right? That are licensing the technology that they've developed within the university. And again, the support that is provided by Univentures, we're not going to charge you for it. We don't charge the cent for it. Even when it comes to the investment of students, we're not going to work out to say, okay, no, we've taken you from this level to that level. Then we need to count that in addition to the investment that you need, right? That is a service that we provide, right? Whatever 100,000, or whatever additional amount that we're going to put in as an university, as an investment, right, is going to be calculated on the basis what is the value at the time of the investment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Noma. I have another question, but I have two that are online. And I'll ask you, Mr. Noma, to keep your mic just in case this one comes to you. The first question actually is to Basanda. Can you give more details on the club?
Okay. So the Startup Club was established to provide a platform for startups that we support at Univentures, those who have graduated and also the current new cohort. It's really to provide continuous support. We provide webinars for continuous development of the startup. So most of the people that will benefit from the startup club are the current cohort that we have at Univentures. But also we do get students who are, look, I'm excited about entrepreneurship. Can you connect me? I want to join and let's say have an opportunity of the webinar. Then we do provide that. But it's basically for the startups that have graduated from the program and the current ones in terms of creating an opportunity of networking and connecting with your peers.
Thank you so much. And the next question is, can you help? Apologize. Can you help with corporate legal services to facilitate external investors' engagements to the project under Unisa Startup Academy?
Okay, we don't provide corporate support in terms of legal services, but however, with our startups that we support, we do link them with legal services that we have outside of the university.
Thank you, Basanda. I'll take the last two questions.
Sorry. Good afternoon. I hope I still remember my questions because that 2 minutes.
It's 2 minutes.
Because of my age, I might forget. The first one is, I want to know the assistance in starting this startup. Is it for a new idea or novelty idea or any idea that can solve any community challenge?
Okay.
That's my first. The second one is if you are transferring skills, like I am the lecturer in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and then during that skill transfer, you realize that the project that you are giving to students can solve a problem. Can we come and then seek assistance from your office? Or that one we take as academic activities?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me attempt to answer your questions. So starting with this, with the second one. So what? So as I said, so there's three streams that we get the startups. It's the innovation challenge that we provide in the university. So the winners from there will get then automatic entry into the Univentures. The second one is staff members that are in our portfolio, which is innovation support program, TIA. Maybe you have also filed, you have a patent within the portfolio. And currently now, then we're running a program for alumni. So that's the basic three entrances in terms of the program. However, students, they do reach out to our office. As I said, also we send out opportunities every week. So students will then reach in our office and say, I have an idea, and can you support us? So when we evaluate that idea, we do take the student in. However, you won't get funding support, but you'll get training through the Startup Academy. So people who get funding are those ones who got through a competition, selected, and got funding. So, but we still provide support in the development. One of the cases that we've seen that people have come up with the ideas is one with NConnect, Bongosi Mabaso. He came with an idea, and we assisted him from that start, from the idea. But later, he approached us for in the Student Innovation Challenge, and then he won. Then he got funding to develop his solution further. So it doesn't mean that when you have an idea, you might not get support, and you cannot develop your solution further. So that's one. And also, if you're a staff member, look, you're passionate about your idea, you also have an opportunity to come in, even if you don't go through those programs that are shared, and then we can support you through that, our Univentures. Also, it had happened, someone outside of the university have an idea that actually develop a smaller prototype around backup on energy, in terms, especially when it was a lot of load shedding 2019. So he came with a prototype, but later now, this guy is making about 5 million rands as a revenue from his company. So we do on ad hoc basis support people who come up with ideas into the office. And then on the second one, in terms of there's a project and then you want to bring that person to the program. So we do, so we can look at in terms of what kind of support you're looking for, and we can take up cases in terms of the interventions we provide within startup academy support. And I know that you are within your product development center that you are working on, and we're looking forward to work with you on some of these guys, because we have several of these guys who are developing their solutions, and sometimes they are looking for that kind of service. Did I cover all those questions? The last one was what? What was the first one again? Oh yes, sorry about that. So our focus within the Univentures program, we are, let's say, we are biased towards innovative solutions. An innovative solution is not sometimes equal to technology. Innovative solution is something that you are coming up with a unique solution that either is an improvement or it's a new solution into the market that we are trying to solve. So don't equate innovation with technology. So we are biased towards that. We're not. So we know that there's several programs across the country that provide general business support. So you can go to SEDFA now, which used to be CEDA. There's NYDA. There's several programs that are there. But when it comes to innovative solutions, especially when you are at an idea stage, there's a lack in terms of funding that kind of support. Because of you taking, it's a high risk in taking that approach. So that's where we were playing in terms of our program. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
I see that they were having more guests coming through. I think Mr. No wants to come in.
Yeah, no, I want to ask a question.
Okay, there's another question I think after you here.
Oh, I wanted to just to find out. Maybe can you say a little bit about the tools that we have, the tools that we use, right? And why we use those particular tools, right? To actually support innovation, because there are specific tools that we use.
Okay.
And can you say a little bit about those tools? And maybe you can just summarize some of them. Why, but more importantly, why are those tools appropriate?
For what we do.
Kind of entrepreneurs that
Okay. Let me highlight 3 tools that we use. So we use what we call lean canvas. It can be also, other people say, business model canvas. There's similarities in those tools. And there's another one we use, design thinking. And the third one is on blue ocean strategy. So earlier, remember I said that you are founder centric. Means that we want to invest in you to be customer centric as a founder. Means that you're solving the founder's problem. So why these 3 tools? When you use the lean canvas, it's your tool where you search in terms of your validating assumptions you've made about what you're trying to do. So you've made an assumption that someone has a problem, and you've made assumption that there's a solution to solve that problem, and you've made assumption that this is how I'm going to sell my product, this is how I'm going to make the payments. So when you support in the startup world, you are someone who is searching for a business model. You don't really know the space you're getting into. So that tool then assists you around product market fit. How does your customer take up your solution? And also, how does the customer wants to transact with you? So that's then embedded in there in that tool is what called customer discovery, where you're now validating if there is a market. I'm not sure, Mr. Noma, if you've mentioned earlier about 9 out of 10 startups fail. One of the causes of failure for 9 out of 10 startups is that there's no market. So you can come up and say you have innovation, and then when you go out and sell, no one buy your stuff, and you complain that no one likes you, or maybe no one wants to support you, because you are not solving the problem that the customer has. So it's very important that too. That's why we take this new cohort in this program called Catalyst. It's embedded in that a lean canvas. When you talk about customer discovery, you're validating if there is a need in the market. So that's the first tool. The second tool that we also use, it's also to enhance your ways on how you go about solving this customer problem. We're using a design thinking process. So the design thinking process allows you to be in the position, or in the same, you put yourself in the position of the customer. One of the key things that I have within design thinking is called empathy, not sympathy. Empathy is that you understand the person, but you don't in a position when you're feeling sorry for someone. When you feel sorry, you want to make someone a favor. But when you are in that person's position, you want to solve that problem. You're not making a person a favor. Because when you're making someone a favor, you can just drop anything and say, look, I'm doing this you a favor. But when you're solving that problem, you want it to be solved. And you don't want to be solved the way you see it. You are solving the way the customer or the person you are solving a problem, they want this problem to be solved. So you put yourself in that person's position. One of the things that you also do when you do design thinking, you want to be in that space. You're not in isolation when you solve that problem. You need to observe. You need to be in that person's environment, understand that solution. And you also do what we call repeat prototyping. It means that you come up with ideas, you quickly can sketch a solution and test it if what you come up with is the best solution for that, without using a lot of money or even no money at all. So, and then the third one is the blue ocean. It's not all of them, just giving the key ones that are very important as you start. The third one is the blue ocean strategy. The blue ocean strategy assists you in terms of creating your own market, kind of playing in your own lane. So if so you come up with your own rules and your own ways of doing things, so that you create a niche in the space. So when you go to a market, you find that everyone now maybe is coming up. Let's take for an example. So there's one company in Israel built in terms of servicing airplanes. So if you service your airplane, it takes a long time. You have downtime. So every airplane doesn't want to have a downtime. That's why you see now there's a plane coming in, they just clean up, and then you come in, and then it flies away. So for the plane to go for service for before it was like 3 months, you out of service in that plane. So those guys in Israel, they said, we can service your stuff within 3 weeks. So now in your business model, you create that you can service your airplanes short than the industry norm. So you then bring in what you call the blue ocean strategy in that approach. So you get a way, you see in terms of how everyone is playing in that market, and you find ways, or even you find ways of your technology that everyone is using technology in a specific field, and then you can use the same technology to address a different field. One of the things, okay, I'm not selling alcohol here, but if you understand in the market, let's say Europe, alcohol in terms of wine is consumed by affluent people. So then the quality wine, the wine that is less quality, normally they will then dispose those grapes. But then there's a company there that say, look, let's take up the waste, this wine, these grapes that will be thrown away because of the quality of the wine. Let's make them vibrant, package them nicely, but then we target now a category where it's young adults who normally will enjoy ciders and stuff, and we also package it in this case they package it in blue. It's not blue oceans per se, but the color was blue. So in that market, they were able to penetrate because they were selling that wine at an affordable price, and then that market was able to take it. In terms of normal way of consuming wine and it's enjoyed, that market normally was not taking up wine. And those guys who are producing wine in the space, they're not going to move there because that's not their market, and they don't package their solution for that kind of market. So that's how we go about using these tools in assisting you to have an approach in terms of customer-centric, solving the customer's problem so that you are able to take your product to the market. I think there was a question here.
It's my turn. But I'm partly covered because I also wanted to find out regarding the staff members that if you have an idea, where do you start?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm partly covered because you have answered that one. But my follow-up question to that one, it's regarding maybe after when the time for resignation or retirement comes, and then how does it work with the royalties because the IP is owned by the university in the case of a staff member.
I'll attempt, but Mr. Noma can close it up. So when you have as an inventor, it never stops that you leave a university to get your benefit. So even if you leave Unisa, you're in a different university or you're retired, as long that IP that is licensed out is still making money, you'll get your benefit based on the structure that the university has agreed on. There's more questions.
One last question. In fact, I've got 2 more questions online. Maybe I should try with those. Start with those.
Okay.
Start with them.
Can you please advise me when is the right time to protect your idea? Is it at the initial stage or it has to be done when you have the prototype?
Okay. Look, so one of the things that we do in the office, at earlier stage, we do engage with someone, either a student or a staff member, when they come up with their own research work or idea. So we can come earlier in the journey with you. So we can advise you. It depends in the interaction with the tech transfer support staff to say, look, I think now we have enough information for us to work on this thing. So you don't have to wait until prototype stage when you want to say, let me go and talk to them. It's better for us to come earlier. Then we can advise you, say, okay, currently I think there's nothing yet. Work, but don't go and publish it or go to a public space to talk about it. But we also give different tools and way of presenting your work without compromising the integrity of your work, so that in a novelty goes out. So there was a question.
Does the innovation idea have to be technology based?
Yeah, I think earlier I did say that innovation is not equal technology. So it does not have to.
Okay. And TA Bukoro is asking, is there a scheduled time plan from start up to implementation for a project?
Yeah, okay. One of the key things we do, the guys, I hear some have gone through the program. One of the key things that we do with each startup, we have the kickoff meeting. One of the kickoff meetings, I go through with you in terms of how you go about planning your project or planning the work you're going to do within your startup. Some people have experience around project management. Some people don't have experience on project management. So I do work with you the stages in terms of how you set up your milestone, how you set up your activities, timelines, how you budget. So that work, I go with you step by step. And also we have an easy template. You don't have to have a fancy a Microsoft project plan. There's a simple template that we can use and assist you in that support.
Thank you very much, Basanda. Are there any more questions in person?
So
I think we're done here.
So as a closure from our side, I said, if you're interested, you're aspiring entrepreneur, there's Khomutso, I think she's on at the door there. If you're interested, we send out a communication. you'll be busy there, so no one, you blind copy, no one is going to see your details, but you get that support. And when you feel like I'm tired, we can then we'll remove you from the system. Eh? But thank you guys for this time.
Also to add on that, if you have any questions or any questions for the DITTC, you can email us at dittc@unisa.ac.za or at innovation@unisa.ac.za. DITTC or innovation@unisa.ac.za. Actually, there is one last question for Mr. Noma or Bathanga. Does Unisa assist with copywriting? Please send, Mabongi, please send an email to innovation@unisa.ac.za. So right now, round of applause for Basanda. Oh, what an amazing impromptu presentation. I mean, thank you so much for that. So we'll be moving on to the next segment, which is going to be happening online. I see Alice is already online. I will move over to that already. We're not going to stop for a break. We're not going to stop for tea break. We're just going to move on to the gist of the matter. Alice, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you just unmute and say something?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Definitely, we definitely can hear you. Can you give her the spot?
Yes.
Do that side. So I'll be handing over to you. I will actually allow you to introduce yourself, give us a bit of a background about you, and then we'll move right over to the program. Maybe a round of applause for Alice, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. There's a slight delay in the audio, so that I hope that I'm coming through loud and clear. There we go. I'm seeing folks coming in online. Okay, so you can hear me fine?
Perfectly.
So, okay. I want to begin by a very big thank you to Ayanda Noma, who is a global networker and educator extraordinaire who has brought this together, and in particular to Basanda Bangoma, who you just heard. And he has been very much Basanda has worked. He has worked very closely as a partner with me, and I apologize if there are awkward pauses on my part because there's an audio delay. I'm Alice Nichols, and I'm streaming into you from Boston, Massachusetts, where I teach.
I think
I teach entrepreneurship at Harvard DCE. I also teach at Brown University in entrepreneurship and innovation, and I'm a national instructor at the Department of Energy, teaching Energy I-Core, and at the National Science Foundation here in the U.S. doing innovation. Bangoma, I'm seeing, Basanda, I'm seeing a puzzled look on your face. Are we audio and video coming through okay?
we're good, Alice. You can continue.
Okay, I will continue. So what I'm here to share with you today, you're going to hear very.
Hi, Alice. So I think just continue with the presentation. We'll try and fix the audio issues on our side.
So, Basanda, will you give me an okay that you can see the first slide?
Can she hear me?
Okay, I'm going to continue, and I am going to give you a very, very brief précis on what we've done with the Catalyst Customer Discovery Program. And what you're going to hear from are the entrepreneurs themselves in the work that they've done. The purpose of the program is to actually work on a project. So they're working towards commercialization of their idea and really embracing an important distinction between selling a product and exploring the, as Basanda mentioned already, the problems and the pains, benefits, or potentially that a person or a group or an organization might pay for a value that they can't live without. They have been applying the scientific method and developing a series of very pointed questions that the scientific method is the backbone of to demonstrate customer segments and the value they would provide and pivots that they have gone through. So this is the timeline. I'm not going to go through that in detail, but it starts off with 2 half-day sessions and then a series of meetings via Zoom and moving to this continual discovery process and hypothesis testing to today's session. The reason we find that most, if not all, new ventures or startups fail is that no one cares. There's not a market need. There aren't people out there who want what they're talking about, what they're looking to develop and offer to them. They also run out of cash. But by far, very important issue is there a need and a desire? And that's why we use the scientific method, which is a process of coming up with those assumptions or beliefs that we have, determining who are not just any people, but the key people that we need to test these with, these beliefs or assumptions, and to find them and ask those questions and then look for pattern and then retest until they're sure about validating or invalidating those hypotheses. So this means for the people that you're about to meet, getting out of a comfort zone to get out from behind their computer, their desk, their office, and talk with the people that they believe have the problems that they hope to solve. This is a de-risking process. We want people to find risks as early as possible. So if they're going to fail, there really is no word like failure that we use. We want them to find them early and often. And as I mentioned, it's all about the potential customers and the data that they can gather. So what they're looking for are not opinions or forecasts. It's a pattern recognition game where they are becoming an expert not on their idea or their technology any further until they understand who it is that they're serving and what their problem is. So without further ado, I'd like to move on to 5 featured presentations. And Basanda, I know that you're going to help me on timing. We're going to try to keep to a rigorous time zone. And the first presentation that we're going to be doing is Kucho. And if you are with us, Kucho, the floor is yours, the screen is yours, and just say change screen when you're ready to move to the next screen, and I'll promptly do so. Could you make sure that you're unmuted?
You can go to the next sheet. Thank you so much, everyone. We have a smart light.
let's use the handheld mic. I think that's gonna work out perfectly.
Right. Thank you so much. My name is Kucho Mutlola. I am the inventor of a digital truck light, of which is a smart light that is actually going to be used by the communities, household owners, and everyone. As he has mentioned, that is there anything that can help out the community? Here is the invention. Thank you so much. Next slide to start with. This track light is the light that is actually going to be used by each and every one of us in our homes, businesses. We're also going to be used by the municipalities and everyone who needs a secure place of where they're working, where they're staying, wherever they're socializing. Thank you. So you see here we have a problem whereby a lot of people are saying that the security that they have or that they want, it is not affordable. You can see that most people like civilians, of which it can detect a problem or anything, any incident that is happening at that time. And here people are saying that if now we have some dark mode, people are experiencing some things of which cannot be seen. If you can also see the security that we have whenever there's power outage, security is also gone. So here we see here the value proposition that we're giving is that we are combining everything in one. Just use one device and it gets everything sorted. Here are the people that need this solution. We have homeowners, we have small business and even big businesses. We have the community leaders, the police. They are trying their all best to get the perpetrators who are actually committing crime and so forth. Next slide. If you can see here, we have the current customer segment whereby we are saying that we're starting with the homeowners. Homeowners are the people who actually give us a more detail regarding the problems that they are actually experiencing on a daily basis. Now we came to an extent whereby where are the segment of these homeowners? We found out that we have the estates, we have the tenants, we have households, and when we go to the smaller segments up, we found out that we have the landlords, people who actually, when there is a tenant, you actually have a landlord, but when you are reporting the problem, does it actually get fixed? No. Landlords are also considering the fact that these things that you're complaining about is costly. Can they afford it? No. So we also have to check at the customers. Who are the people who are going to be using out this product? Thank you. Okay. Yes, you can see that we have the residents, we have the tenants, we have the household owners, everyone. Who are the people who are actually reporting these incidents to the household owners? Okay, we are going to move to the next one. You can see we have a pie chart whereby we detailed everything, the results of what we have done, the research that we made. The research was made with the entrepreneurs, homeowners, community safety officers, including the police, correctional service police. Whenever there is an incident happening inside the prison, we are always complaining that a lot of things are happening inside the prison, and the warders find it so difficult to find out what is it that is actually happening. Here we have a light. It's going to give us the solution. Ministers can also be able to check what is it that is actually happening inside the prisons. Okay, we also have the schools, the security officers. Moving on to the venture skilling assumption. Here we have a matter. Okay, thank you. So now if we check here, we have the small businesses. With the small businesses, this is the assumption killing that we made here. Small businesses, they are using the locks, they are using the normal CCTV that we have. Even here, I think we still have it. So with these CCTVs that we have, there's a big problem with them because whenever incidents are happening, they have to call in the security. Now, if those people came and they know that once they get in there, they tell you that, no, don't tell security. You're not going to do anything. So these are the problems that we found out with the small businesses owners. And then moving on to the homeowners, they also complained about the affordability. And these people, they're also using the sensor light. Imagine if now we have load shedding, sensor light will not work. What's going to happen with you? Do you have any alternative? Nothing. They steal your car, they're gone. No one is going to actually assist with regard to anything that has transpired in your yard. So now with these people, they also complain about these devices that you have to buy, separate, connect them in one. How much are they going to cost you? The labor work that you also have to actually pay out for is also costly for you. So now here, we also have the neighborhood groups, the community members. These people, they also complained about the security checks. So they said that these problems are the things that they're actually experiencing when it comes to such things. Okay, thank you. So they said that the social media whereby community are always experiencing some things, they communicate on WhatsApp groups. But what if now you're off from your WhatsApp? What's going to happen? Is there anything that's going to assist you? That's the problem. So we started with the hypothesis whereby we engaged with the small businesses and they told us about the problems that they're experiencing, whereby we interviewed 15 business owners. They complained about the solutions, the problems they're experiencing with their CCTVs, their logs, that they are actually doing with regard to the security that they're putting in their workplace, at their businesses, but it still is not working because when the thieves come, they come the boys. Okay, so now when we came to the validation of the hypothesis that we also did, which is slide number 16, if you can go to it, is with the homeowners. They also complained about the matters of awareness. Whenever something is happening, there is no incidents report, something that is giving them a report that 1, 2, 3 is happening in your heart. So whenever this incident happens, it happens, and you'll have to go back to your CCTV. What if those people covered their heads? You won't see anything. So you see, they also complain about a lot of things that are happening with the current CCTVs that we are using, okay? And then the other one, we have the community safety groups, which are the police and security officers. They also complained about the same thing. When there's power outage, there's a lot of things happening. It's dark mode. People come in. They do their things. Is there anything that is going to assist the communities? Get everyone together. Okay, thank you. We engage with the homeowners, tenants. They told us the problems that they are experiencing. Then when we came to the canvas, that's where we identified the problem with the community members, neighborhood, and try to find out the solution that they actually need with regard to the problem that they're experiencing. And then we came to a worksheet, whereby we started saying that let's actually start working with the neighborhood community officers, which are the policies. This is the people who said that we need this to actually work. But all of this is something that was done without exposing the solution on how it is actually going to work. But we see the need, we see the problem, now we provide a solution to the problem that they are actually putting on to us. We also have...
So Kujuto, because we're out of time, and I apologize for the technical challenges, I'm going to move us through the archetype that you think are going to be first customers, your final canvas, and would you then take us through what your next steps are in closing?
Okay, thank you so much. After getting the insight, thank you. Here you can see that we have the recommendations for the next step. We prioritize the usage of the cases in rural homes, small shops, and the gated communities, which we also going to be dealing with the officers. We explored the markets, like you see, the pop-up retail, which are the small retail stores. We also do the research comparing the tech that we have and the smaller tech, which is the solars that we can also use to ensure that these lights keeps on whenever the power is out. We also used to identify the highest need of the customers. We already did 85 interviews, but we still need more to find out from people what is it that they're actually looking up for. We are not done here. So here we are still going to continue with the interviews, interviewing a lot of people, community officers, and also the businesses, just to find out more. What is it that they're actually looking up for, to ensure that when the product is built, it is what they're actually going to buy. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for your hard work and for a wonderful presentation. And we're now going to move on to our next presentation. Makwati, are you here on the line and ready to start?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Makwati, take it away.
You. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I come before you to present a solution to one of South Africa's most pressing challenges: the inefficiencies and irregular expenditure in our public health care system. My name is Mokwati Thabo Rampisa. I'm the founder and CEO of Leboa Wealth Management, FSP 54506. I am proud to introduce our digital medical hub, a platform designed to transform our public health care through digitization. Please move on to the next slide. So before we embarked on a customer discovery, we realized, or essentially we realized that we have a huge problem within our public healthcare system in terms of delivery. So our public healthcare system is burdened by long lines, backlogs, and preventable lawsuits. So our main customers that are affected by this are doctors, because a lot of doctors in South Africa, for every one doctor, there are more than 2,000 patients. This is far beyond what the World Health Organization is recommending. That is 1 to 100 to 1,000 patients. Patients wait for hours only to return home untreated. Administrative staff struggle with paper-based systems, leading to misplaced files and incorrect diagnosis. And this also leads to costly litigation. Meanwhile, irregular expenditures drain resources meant for patient care. These efficiencies just don't affect workers alone, but they also cost lives. Right. So as we embark on our customer discovery, we went on to understand further who is really affected, one, and two, what is the main pain point. Of course, before the interviews, our main idea was, or our main value proposition was, to improve a traceable workflow. Please move on to the next one for me. So in terms of segmentation of our customers, we are going to start with the healthcare system. Of course, across the board, as time goes on, we're mainly going to focus on finance, healthcare, and technology. But the main point is, at the moment, the main focus is our healthcare. So our digital medical hub is not just a technology. This is a lifeline. This is our opportunity to transform public healthcare within the Republic. So we also want to, as we can go on to the individuals that are affected, we want to help doctors to access complete patient histories instantly, reducing errors and lawsuits. We want hospitals to be able to track patient traffic in real time, cutting waiting times and backlogs. We want to make sure that our administrators are able to replace paper files with secure and traceable digital records. And lastly, of course, our financial officers within hospitals, we want to make sure that they're able to monitor expenditure transparently, as a result, curbing waste. Please move on to the next one. So during our customer discovery, we interviewed a total of 20 interviewees. So our research included doctors, nurses, accountants, and patients, which confirms some of our pain points, or some of the pain points that we made mention. So one of the psychiatrists, please move on to the next slide for me, then I'll emphasize the point. So we went into the customer discovery with three main hypotheses. The first one being that lawsuits are a major pain point, a major concern for medical doctors and finance officers. Secondly, backlogs are a serious pain for administrative staff, medical officers, and patients. And lastly, our insurance funds for refinancing is an area of concern for financial officers. Please move on to the next one, as I try to show you how we validated our ideas. So with the first one, that lawsuits are a major concern for medical professionals and finance officers, we came across a lot of doctors who were always wary in every interview. I interviewed about 7 doctors. All of them are wary of the public healthcare system pertaining how administration is being handled. That is paper based. So you find that in some cases, doctors have to make decisions based on incomplete information because files will be missing and files will go lost. So as a result, not just misdiagnosis, but this also causes further morbidities for patients going forth. So during this customer discovery, we interviewed about 7 doctors, 1 pharmacist, a nurse, and 4 accountants who both confirm that poor administration of medical records is a main pinpoint. And of course, this tells us that digitization can best give us the best lifeline. As I mentioned, this is not technology for technology's sake. Right, so
Just a 2-minute warning.
Thank you. Please move on to the next one for me. We also validated the second one, that backlogs are a serious pain point for administrative staff and medical officers and patients. As part of our iteration, so this was validated. As part of our iteration, we are going to engage clinical managers at a senior level now, see clinical managers and hospital executives to understand how resources are allocated in public hospitals. Please move on to the next one. So with this one, I interviewed accountants mainly. That is to find ways that we can refinance our public healthcare system based on the tariffs that the government currently charges. So a lot of them are a bit wary about it because of the predetermined objectives of the public healthcare in South Africa. So we still need more information and to investigate a little bit further. Please move on for me. Yes, so we have 2 main personalities that we want to focus on. The 2 pain points affect these 2 customer types. That is our healthcare workers and our patients. So due to a lack of time, I'd like to move through to the last canvas. All right. The canvas. Thank you so much. Yes, so we were able to clearly define our problems, our problem statement. So we did realize that irregular expenditure is a problem in the public hospitals. Lawsuit litigation due to medical. There are a lot of lawsuits that can be preventable due to medical negligence, and there's a lot of backlogs and long queues. So here's what we propose. We want to reduce.
You need to move to closing, Makwati. So can I move to your next steps before we move forward? I want to give you that opportunity.
Yes, please. Right. So as part of our next steps in our customer discovery, we're just gonna quickly name them. We want to conduct more interviews based on the third hypothesis that we still need validation on the insurance fund hypothesis. And secondly, we're going to interview the procurement department staff to get an understanding of how much is actually lost in real time due to irregular expenditure. Medical aids can be our saboteurs, so we want to make sure that we interview medical aid finance officials to have an understanding of how symbiotic both the public sector and the private sector can work together in order to improve and make healthcare much more accessible to everyone else. And lastly, we want to interview government officials from the Department of Health to have a high-level view of how the current system is working on an executive level. If I've still got time, I would like to go through my available positions.
I'm afraid that we don't have enough time, but we're going to move on to the next presentation. But thank you so much, Makwati, for such a very important venture that can impact so many people socially, medically, in the community. So great presentation. And we're going to now move on to Anne-Marie. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Can I start?
Please start.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Anne-Marie Elof, and I'm excited to present Synova, a South African innovation redefining how mental health care is delivered, accessed, and experienced. At Sinova, we're building a hybrid mental wellness platform rooted in empathy, scaled by technology, and made accessible to those the system often overlooks. Next slide, please. This slide represents our very first thinking of Business Canvas before the customer discovery began. We identified a critical problem, which was that South Africans are facing trauma, poverty, and emotional distress. Yet, mental health care remains inaccessible, unaffordable, and culturally misaligned. Our original value proposition was a mobile-first low-data platform that provides emotional support through a mix of real human counseling and AI chatbot available 24/7. We targeted students, employees, and underserved community members as our key customer segment. What's exciting about the starting point is the customer discovery interviews helped us refine these ideas into a richer, validated platform, which we'll return to later in the presentation. Next slide, please. We then mapped out the ecosystem of problems, technology, and stakeholders. Our core technology is an AI hybrid platform that's emotionally intelligent, culturally relevant, and mobile first. Problems it can solve is inaccessibility, cultural and language misalignment, and no real-time support. Our targeted industries include higher education, corporate employers, public health, and the NGO sector. Our customer subsections include customer wellness centers, HR departments, outreach managers, and then also the types of customers include the users, which will be mental health professionals, psychology students, mental health seekers, students, employees, and community volunteers. The buyers would include mental health professionals, psychology students, mental health seekers, HR heads, and student affair directors. The deciders would be executives and deans, and the payers would be institutions, companies, and grant bodies. Next slide, please. To test the model, we conducted 20 interviews and actively engaging in more, where here is a visual representation of our interview population consisting of mental health professionals, hospital inpatients, general mental health seeking public, and our competitors. Next slide, please. We focused on 3 venture killing assumptions. Number 1, whether people would trust AI chatbot for emotional support. Number 2, would low-income users engage through WhatsApp? And number 3, would students remain engaged through peer-based gamified wellness? Next slide, please. We then tested these 3 venture killing assumptions with 3 hypotheses, with results as follows. Hypothesis 1, testing AI for support, resulted with a definite yes, if it feels warm, fast, and anonymous. On the next slide, we tested hypothesis 2 on the WhatsApp usage, where the WhatsApp has 100% daily usage and apps are avoided due to data costs and limited phone storage. On the next slide, we tested hypothesis 3 that tested the gamification aspect and found that it would increase engagement, especially if it includes recognition and safe peer-driven interactions. These insights will help us shape our UX, the tone, the features, and our platform structure. Next slide, please. We have 3 main customer archetypes. Up first, we have Susan, a 22-year-old emotionally overwhelmed, seeking privacy and culturally safe support. On the next slide, we have Zola, a 25-year-old psych honors grad who needs counseling hours and impact to strengthen her master's application. On the next slide is John, a 39-year-old licensed professional battling burnout and craving flexibility in income and the CPD courses accessibility online. Each one of these reflects a critical part of our value chain, whether as users, contributors, or as both. Sinova is not just a platform, it's a multi-sided ecosystem that unlocks value from every angle. For the general public, we gain accessible, inclusive, 24/7 emotional support. For psychology students, they act as providers and as customers, offering lay counseling, and they can buy our certification course. Registered professionals also act as providers and customers, delivering therapy and supervision, and then also as customers accessing CPD courses, flexible income, and digital tools, all of which they form part of a shared network where students and professionals can connect, learn, and grow through our dedicated mentorship and collaboration space. It's a living system where each role strengthens the others. Next slide, please. Here's our evolved canvas after the real-world validation. Our refined problem is emotional distress, which is widespread, and the care is inaccessible. Our refined value proposition is real-time, low-data mental health support, lay counseling for experience building, CPD courses, and income for professionals, among the many others due to the lack of time. The primary customer segment is urban and peri-urban women like Susan, and the secondary customer segment is psychology students like Zola and mental health professionals like John. This version is much deeper, sharper, and built on a user truth. Next slide, please. The next steps for the customer discovery process is to validate the multi-purpose minimum viable product. Number 2, we will also partner with universities to pilot this as a psychology practicum site. Then we will also explore mobile pop-up and fixed site clinic expansions. And then lastly, build towards a tech-enabled psychology university and therapy hub. Okay, sorry, there's just a delay. But then lastly, Sinova is how we scale dignity, empathy, access in mental health care. It is user-driven, student-empowering, professionally enriching, and it's deeply South African, designed to meet real people where they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, thank you so much for a cogent and precise and wonderful presentation. Excellent job. Thank you, Anne-Marie. And we're now going to move on to Clint, who's going to tell us about green tech solutions. So Clint, if you're with us.
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everybody. I think there's a bit of a delay, but I'll continue. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Clint Morar, and my startup is called Green Tech Solutions. What we do is we compete with marine diesel prices by producing and selling an alternative fuel for small boat owners, tugboats, and ferries in the form of bio-LPG, which is biological liquefied petroleum gas, and biodiesel at an affordable price. Next slide, please. My business canvas started with me looking at agricultural equipment owners and vehicle owners, as well as small boat owners, ferries and yacht owners, mining equipment and vehicle owners. They were the customer segments that came to mind. The problems that faced were price volatility and dependency on fossil fuels. What they would like is to access affordable fuel, access reliable and sustainable fuel supply, and these qualities must align with the decarbonization strategy of South Africa. Next slide, please. My entry into the market is the maritime industry. Although there are various options available, that would be the key entry point to start with. I would be producing test. Can you go back one slide there, Alice? Thank you. It would be producing, testing, and selling of biodiesel, biogas, and bio-LPG. And we will be solving the greenhouse gases problem, the dependency on fossil fuels, as well as rising fossil fuel prices. The companies that come to mind are engine companies like Sulzer, BMW, Caterpillar, MAN, etc. And the various departments affected by this would be your Marine Department, Procurement Department, and Harbour Master Department. My end users that will be using these machines will be captains, engineers, skippers, and pilots. Next slide, please. My customer discovery ended up with me finding 35% of the marine industry, 30% of the hospitality industry, the mining industry is 10%, agricultural 10%, as well as my end users making up 15%. Next slide, please. The three hypotheses that I've tested were your food waste producers, like restaurants and hotels, have a large amount of waste that they want to give away. Second hypothesis were the directors of research and development at maritime engine manufacturers needs to seek alternative fuel sources for engines. My third hypothesis were end users of large tugboats that are open to using new fuels and what that would entail. Next slide, please. The results I got from the first hypothesis was that various biodiesel businesses have closed due to a poor market strategy. That's in South Africa. Our South African government needs to create legislation to keep these businesses afloat and open. For example, creating refueling stations that had an extra pump for biodiesel. Currently, and it's an interesting fact, there is already 7% biodiesel in our normal petrol at the petrol stations. Very interesting was that the used cooking oil that was received from hotels and restaurants are actually sold to European companies that produce biofuels due to the lack of biofuel production in South Africa. Hence, it was mostly validated, and therefore I need to explore more European companies that have an interest in South Africa for the collection of oil residues, biofuels, and biogas. Next slide, please. My second hypothesis came about quite substantially finding out that the South African leading company in the maritime industry, Transnet, they are going to retrofit for decarbonization. Hence, they will be converting all their South African tugboats to alternative fuel. Alternative fuels are definitely being considered, but hydrogen seems to be the leading choice at the moment. They are upgrading the fuel storages and the distribution infrastructure at the ports, and that's currently underway. The South African Institute for Marine Engineers and Naval Architectures are supporting the research and innovation in this area, and they are currently working closely with the government to create this infrastructure development. Four-stroke engines are quite popular. From what I heard, two-stroke engines is definitely the best choice. Therefore, this hypothesis is valid. And my next steps would be to work on the regulatory aspect. That's for the decarbonization and to ensure that renewable energy does take place in South Africa. Next slide, please. The results from my third hypothesis was that some training is needed. There's a lack of training and expertise.
And we have a 1-minute warning, Clint. And again, I apologize.
Thank you so much. The cost of these fuels needs to be available at a crucial factor price. Hence, it's not validated because the chief engineers and second engineers need to test them. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. My customer archetype is the Maritime Procurement Officer, and that speaks for itself. They handle transportation, marine engineering, power generation, and operational slides. They evaluate the sourcing and sustainable energy solutions. Next slide, please. Lastly, but not least, I've added onto my final canvas, I've included motorsport enthusiasts, petrol station owners. I've added one problem, which is the regulatories. But what I did find out, can you go back one slide, please? My next steps for customer discovery would be to deepen customer understanding, expand the market research, strengthen marketing and sales, foster strategic partnerships, optimize operations, then monitor and adapt. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay, we're going to move on to Tobiel. Clint, I want to thank you so much. And I want to thank you for the perseverance of the audience. Luckily, we have both visual and audio, and I know that the Wi-Fi folks who I can't see or communicate with, but I know that they're working. Okay, Tobiel, let's begin, and let me hand it to you. And thank you for just continuing to present, even though you may hear some reverb because people do see your slides. And let's begin.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tobiel.
Yes, Tobiel. Good day. My name is Tobile Mbambo, the founder of Sweet Law, which seeks to address the lack of affordable, accessible legal services for SMMEs and middle-income earners by offering Next slide. Before the interviews, this is how our first canvas looked like. Our customer segment in SMMEs, middle income earners, and attorneys from middle to small to medium law firms. To solve the problem of legal services being too expensive, hidden and go back to the previous slide. Previous slide. Our core technology is digital legal services platform with real-time attorney and client matching. Problems it can solve is access to affordable quality legal services by offering fixed fee consultations up to 50% cheaper than the normal rate. Customers and we focus on SMMEs for now. Next slide. From the 24 customer discovery interviews held, are divided on the pie chart as displayed. 19% attorneys, 25% middle income earners, and 28% SMMEs. Next slide, please. And three, we compiled assumptions we needed to test over the next slide. Our first hypothesis, which we validated, is the biggest barrier to access to legal services for SMMEs and middle income earners is high legal costs. During this experiment, we wanted to understand why they avoid or delay using legal services, as well as to find out what the legal issues that they face in the past and the alternatives they could not solve high legal legal professionals. Others rather signing contracts without review than paying an attorney, which can have dire consequences. Our next step is to dig deeper into the hypothesis. Next slide, please. Second hypothesis was mostly validated, but more data is required. It's a income earners consultation, the traditional retainer fees or subscription-based services. Their past experiences, frequency of legal needs, and which payment methods align with their usage and why. During this experiment, we gathered that majority due to the frequent or unpredictable legal cost of subscription services for clear and cost predictability. Continue validating the pay-as-you-use model by conducting more interviews to understand price sensitivity and strengthen our core offering without shifting too early. Exactly. Please. Our third hypothesis is attorneys are willing to offer on-demand services if they can get a steady flow of client without upfront market costs, which we have validated. During this experiment, we asked attorneys about their current client acquisition and discovered that they rely on and client acquisition is a struggle the missing middle, some emphasized as giving back as a motivator. We are willing to test, we continue to test this assumption to better understand any concerns or regulation. Next slide, please.
Okay, 2-minute warning.
Map in the middle, and the left side is our two demands, our supply. The blue arrows represent user access engagement flow. The orange is compliance and accreditation. And lastly, the revenue flow with the green arrows on top. Next slide. The current canvas are SMEs, companies, and the problem we seek to solve for these customers is traditionally services with the missing middle, people who more than a threshold of 9,100 that can traditional law firms, making access to quality legal services out of reach for many South Africans. As on the other hand, are heavily referrals, which is the suite value proposition benefit on 50% cheaper consultation fees, pay as you want, and model and no monthly payments. Pay what you when you need it. 24 hours, attorneys from of clients and consultation and no overheads. Next slide, please. Next slide. Our next step is to continue conducting more interviews, collecting more data, and test price points, acquire more data on legislation and regulation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tobiel. I'm sorry for that, for the lack of stability on the. We're now going to move into teams who are in progress, who are not going to give us a full presentation, but are going to give us 45 seconds just to share what is the problem that they're solving, for whom, and how. And so we're going to go through 6 45-second, very brief, what is their. Okay, Joyce, are you with us? And would you begin with your product market fit?
Yes, I will. Thank you. So I'll be talking about Smart Pay, an inclusive payment system. So South Africa stands on the brink of a payment revolution with the introduction of face-based payment technology. That promises to make transactions faster, safer, and more inclusive. I believe the country is more than ready to embrace this next step in the evolution of payment. The innovation Smart Pay is set to launch a biometric payment platform designed to make transactions as simple as a smile. The future of payment is face recognition. Around the world, the adoption of biometric payment, especially through facial recognition, is rapidly gaining momentum. Countries like China and the UK have already rolled out systems where consumers can pay simply by scanning their faces. Now, South Africa is preparing to follow suit with Smart Pay, a new platform that will allow people to complete transactions simply by standing in front of a camera. South Africa has a growing number of tech-savvy consumers and rapidly increasing smartphone penetration is prime for this leap. South Africa is ready for face payment. The demand for more secure, faster, and easier payment method is growing, and biometric technology is the logical next step. So this is a payment platform for all. Smart Pay system links a consumer's facial features to their bank account, enabling payments without the need for cards, cash, or even your smartphone. It uses advanced facial recognition algorithm to authenticate the user and complete the transaction instantly, making payment seamless and efficient. One of the standout features of smartphone is accessibility. While many digital payments platforms require users to have a bank card or a smartphone, or face payments are designed to be used by everyone, regardless of whether they own a smartphone or not. For people who may not be familiar with technology, such as the elderly or those with disabilities, SmartPay offers the simple and more inclusive solution. The thought of using a card or remembering password can be daunting, particularly for the elderly or people with disabilities. With face payments, there's no need to navigate complicated machines or remember pins. All you need is your face, which makes this solution not only convenient, but also more accessible for everyone, empowering the unbanked and the underbanked. So the face payment have the potential to drive financial inclusion in South Africa. There's a significant portion of the population that remains unbanked or underbanked, making it difficult for many South Africans to participate in the digital economy. So the Smart Pay provides a way for those who don't have access to traditional bank accounts to still make secure digital transactions. It removes the barriers that come with having to rely on physical bank cards, mobile wallets.
Joyce, we're going to need to stop, and we're going to need to move to the next very brief 45-second presentation. And thank you so much for that. And Chad, would you give us a brief précis on Fly Connect?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Chad Lucas, and I'd like to introduce FlyConnect, which is a drone medicine and medical delivery service that helps managers and pharmaceutical supply chain coordinators of remote clinics and public hospitals who wish to have a regular supply of medicine and medical supplies to treat their patients by reducing the inefficiencies in time and frequency of these delivery of medicine and medical supplies from pharmaceutical depots and larger hospitals, and who wish to increase the quality of healthcare service administered by these remote public clinics to their patients. Thank you.
Chad, excellent. Very important problem, and great work so far. Let's move on to the next one. MK? Are you with us, MK? Can you unmute?
What if I told you that you can go to the beach and have peace of mind without worrying about where to put your car keys, gadgets, or any of your belongings? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mzamseni Zondo. While beaches are considered a serene placement...
Okay, MK is looking at beach lockers, at the problems of theft and loss, convenience, and...
Oh, sorry. While beaches are considered a serene place men enjoy, they also pose as one of the hotspots for theft, car break-ins, and people getting mugged. Our beach lockers helps beachgoers who wants to swim, surf, sunbathing, water sports.
Go ahead, MK.
Recreation by preventing theft and loss, limited storage options, and provide convenience and security. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And again, sorry that the tech support has not been able to, for the overlay. Let's keep on moving, and let's hear about Plusi Nivrodhu.
Good morning, everyone. Whoa. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ndiwo Wacha. I'm currently studying small business management course at University of South Africa. I'm the founder of Plug. Plug is actually a social media platform powered by AI for recommendation of relevant, personalized information. The problem that we are actually solving is a problem of high unemployment. Looking at South Africa as a whole, we're faced with mostly youth unemployment. And as we got deeper with the customer discovery session, we realized that even though we have unemployment rate, we do still have our youth on their internet, on their phones, on social media, but the struggles of monetization, meaning they're unable to make a living out of social media. And then there's also some mental issues that are involved with the same space, which is the social media space. So, and the pressure, when you know that you want to try monetize within the current social media platform, you put too much to a point where sometimes you wouldn't know when to stop. So these are some of the problems that we found. And because most of the content creators are trying by all means to get visibility so that they can start earning, because that will be mostly the minimum required by the current platforms. So how Plug address these solutions actually to bring a platform that it's content creator centered, meaning that we actually are focused on content creators and making sure that they can start to earn a living from the content they create, meaning that we allow them to have direct monetization. Direct monetization, it just means you put a content and you're able to earn immediately from that content. This we do it by allowing subscriptions, tipping, and making post premium. And we have a lot of support and unique features that we have developed just to make sure that we are unique. In terms of our market fit, literally our focus is on the content creators, can be South Africa for now, that was our focus, and abroad that are seeking for monetization online. And we also have companies that are looking to advertise their businesses, and as well as those users that are looking to consume certain content that is originally either from Africa and abroad. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And now let's move on to Thokozani. Will you tell us about your venture?
Good day, everyone. My name is Thokozani Sibego. I'm the founder of Umaki. Many high school learners in townships, they struggle to pass, not because of lack of potential, but they're lacking, there is a lack of interactive learning tools and a lack of language barrier. Umaki is a powered learning app that improves academic performance by more than 80%. It offers tutoring in English with instant translation into all 11 South African languages and includes an interactive assistant to give students a real-time academic help. We're not just helping learners pass, we are helping them truly understand. That's the power of Umaki. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thokozani. And last but not least, we're going to hear from Zanel.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for this opportunity. So we are Tweak My Price, which is a price and loyalty reward comparison tool. What we seek to do, it helps household heads, the working class, as well as tertiary students who want to increase loyalty reward budgeting by comparing price and loyalty reward for at least 3 deals at a time. This helps consumers on their purchases to save on their purchases by at least 5%. Also to note that this is for price sensitive consumers. So if you're price sensitive and you have ways in which you're looking to save on your grocery, please chat with me for 2 minutes or something and let's explore. Thank you.
A round of
Okay, I just want to thank you to all the presenters today and to our audience, and to close by saying that the Wi-Fi struggles that you unfortunately witnessed today illustrate the frontier and the challenges and the gaps, the reach that these folks are faced with.
Let's give Alice a minute more. I'm sure she has a final couple of words.
Back to you, Basanda.
Okay. Okay, a round of applause for our startups. How amazing was that? As you can see, there's a lot of potential, and there are a lot of brilliant ideas that can actually push the narrative of fixing the challenges that we see in society. So without any further ado, but before I do this, before I hand over to the next speaker, whom you've seen already, the slide. First of all, actually, I would like to thank Alice. I would like to thank Alice for taking us through the program and taking us through assisting our startups to get through the program progressively and so diligently. A round of applause for Alice. Thank you so much. I'd also like to take this opportunity and apologize for the glitches that we experienced. I mean, there's little that we can do to try and mitigate stuff like that. But I think we pushed through it and it worked out very well. Not this one. The last one, awards. Yes. It's not an award ceremony, it's just that the slide is written awards. So I needed to be up here before I hand over to Ubasanda. This is completely in recognition of our startups who went through the program, who persevered, who held on, and who finished and got to this point. We do want to recognize them because it is an achievement that we want to celebrate. So that's what Basanda is going to be doing. Maybe Basanda, let me handle that. Let me handle it. You come and take over. Maybe you can speak on it a bit while we are sorting out. So over to Basanda Pongoma, who was in charge of this entire program. A round of applause for him again.
Thank colleagues. Thank you, Alice, again for the program. Thank these exciting projects that these guys are working on. So, colleagues, now we're at the stage where we like to show the same people that have presented in terms of the program we do. As we said, the program, we call it Catalyst. It's for customer discovery. It's a new initiative in the university in terms of how you go about validating your idea or the problem you're trying to solve. So these are the startups that will get are getting recognition on this program, and certificates are coming. So you'll receive your digital certificates and also printed ones when they are completed. Yeah. Okay, I think that's yeah. You saw the names, you saw people when they're presenting, so we come almost yeah. So these are names already presented earlier in terms of you saw individual guys were presenting. The other one that we didn't have was Oratile. We didn't have a chance to present for today. But I think we come closer to the closure of our program. I know that I think I should then introduce Matsejo. I think she disappeared a bit. But before I call, okay, she's there. Before maybe I call the Matsejo to come back in terms of introducing the person who's going to do a closure. Guys, as I said, this is a start in terms of the program. It's not the actual development of the solution. You have to validate if there is a need in the market. So these guys have shown you in terms of their process how they go about interviewing. It does not stop at the 20 customers. They're gonna go more in terms of. So this is an initial a part of their journey. So they'll continue with this program, and then later in the year, when we have another cohort, they'll come back, some of them, to present fully in terms of what they've achieved, especially those who have presented one slide for today. So thank you for your time. As Maseko said earlier, if you want to reach us, send an email at innovation@unisa, and we'll find time to engage with you and also try to assist you. Back to you, Maseko.
Thank you so much, Basanda. And without wasting any more time, I would like to call on stage Dr. Sia Ntutela, who is part of the DITTC. A round of applause for Sia.
Thank you. Thank you to my two colleagues, Matseho and Basanda. My name is Siyabulela Ntutela. I think, colleagues, without taking too much of your time, we have seen what it means to take an idea and push it down the commercialization route. And the nice thing about it is that, which answers, I think, a question was asked earlier on, which says, does innovation have only to be about technologies? We've seen examples here that innovation is a new way of doing things, taking what is there and improving or creating something new in the space of void. And it doesn't have to always be about innovation, it's all about technologies. It can be the way of doing business, and some of the presentations that were here are testimony to that, to show that if we can be able to take our ideas and push them through the system, as Africa's biggest university, we can actually solve most of our problems through driving all these innovations and commercializing them and making sure that they are protected appropriately, but more importantly, they have impact in our society, whether it's business or in our own society. So thank you to our SMMEs that showed that this can be done. And I also want to thank our colleague, Ms. Nichols, who is based in the USA. Again, we believe that partnerships is what make, or partnerships are what make any economy to thrive. There's no economy that can exist in silo. And Unisa, together with Harvard and let me put it this way, Ayanda's team, together with Ms. Nichols' team, I truly show that we can actually collaborate across all spheres of life, across the oceans, across every mountains, across geographical boundaries, to come up with good ideas like what we've seen here today, where Unisa's ideas are being polished across the Atlantic Ocean in the USA, and we have now this young team of innovators being able to articulate what their innovation is all about. So, special thanks to Ms. Nichols, who has been a partner to Unisa for all these years. We hope that in the future, it's not only going to be just this fewer students. We're also going to see, because the innovation is not about students only, it's also about staff members who want to benefit from all of the activities that we do. So our hope is that we will grab even the staff members who have ideas, bring them into the program, and run these programs with them. So on that note, I want to thank Alison where she is, and please keep up the partnership with us. And lastly, Ayanda did mention, Ms. Nenoma did mention that the directorate, we want to hear from you. It's not us against you, or it's not us and you separately. We are part of the university, and we want to look at what we have as an idea, how we can work with you as the ITTC to take your idea into what society needs and what businesses need. So talk to us as a directorate. Let's hear what ideas you have, how we can work with you, and how we can be able to develop your ideas. Make sure that it is protected, but mostly make sure that it is commercialized until the South Africa and Africa at large benefits from your ideas. So on that note, my brothers and sisters, let me then close today's gatherings, and I'm informed by my colleague, Ms. Masecha, that there's probably food out there, but we will continue to invite to some of the activities that we have as a directorate, seminars, webinars, because again, I said earlier on, the institution can only thrive if we work together collaboratively, and also if we share knowledge and share ideas and communicate with each other. So we will continue to invite to some of our seminars just to learn about innovation, about commercialization, about tech transfer, and about IP and many other aspects in the value chain of taking innovations into what people need and in what society requires. So on that note, thank you very much. And those are driving, drive safely. And those are online. And thank you for joining us. I'll now hand over to Mateko to then close today with thanks and meals.
Thank you so much, Sia. And we have reached the end of our program. Thank you so much for joining us for this program. And without overdoing it, but I would like to emphasize that we are definitely available to assist in any way that we can. Do reach out to us at innovation at Unisa or at the DITTC at Unisa. Have a lovely day, drive safely, and please join us for tea, coffee, and lunch there at the lobby. Thank you so much for joining us.